There you go. How you doing, sir? How you doing? Hey, what's your name?
George.
George, what do you do?
I am an IT manager.
Okay, that works, that works. And when you're not an IT manager, what do you do for a good time?
Pinballs, roller coasters, amusement parks.
You are my kind of geek, sir. I love you. All right, give him a big round of applause. Everybody, big round of applause for him. Come on over here. How you doing? What's your name?
Bobby.
Bobby, tell everybody who you're cosplaying as today.
Starlight from The Boys.
I love it, I love it, I love it. And what do you do for a living?
I am a home health aide.
Okay, cool. And these people at work, do they know you come to cons and cosplay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and when you're not, well, that sounds good. You ready to do this thing?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do, folks. I'm gonna need you guys to cut promos against each other, okay? But this will be a compliment battle, okay? So as I hand you the microphone, you must say the nicest things about the other person on stage in the meanest way possible, all right? After that, we're gonna go to the audience. They're gonna choose who won the game, and that winner will win a gift card. But before we get things started, it takes a lot of guts to get up here in front of people and talk like this, so give them a big round of applause, everybody. Here we go, sir. I'm giving it to you because I feel like you have the most experience at it, all right? So here we go. Here's your microphone. Compliment battle. Once again, you must say the nicest things in the meanest way. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you down because you're just so beautiful and you rock that outfit, man. I tell you what.
Damn, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I would not say you're gonna take a woman down in 2022, though. We're gonna act like that didn't happen. Okay, we're gonna say something else. All right, coming over here to you. All right, compliment battle. Action.
You honestly think that you're going to beat me coming here looking as awesome as you do wearing a White Sox hat? And you ride roller coasters? I mean, does it get cooler than that?
She's pretty good. She's pretty good. She's pretty good. All right, here we go. Very, very nice. All right, that was round number one. Pretty good. We're going to go to round two. This will be our last round. We're just going to go right at it, and then we're going to go to the audience, and they're going to choose who the winner is. So compliment battle on you. Action.
All right. Yeah, you can take care of anybody, man. You're a home health care worker. Props to everybody who takes care of people, man. You're awesome.
Yeah, big round of applause for handing it over. Here we go. Compliment battle and action.
You do IT. You mean the entire world revolves around IT. And you do that for a living. Like, you are second to first responder. I bow down.
Give them up a big round of applause, everybody. Big round of applause. All right. And so now, my friends out in the audience, here's your test. I'll put my hand above their head, showtime in the Apollo style, and you will cheer for who you think won our compliment battle. Will it be him? I don't appreciate you bending down like that for me, so thank you. All right. Gotta piss me off. All right, here you go. Will it be her? It was very close. But you win the battle, sir. Very, very nice. But you get one too, so give them both a big round of applause, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, clap and scream for Tom Ryan!
Hands back up in the air. Welcome to C2E2, everyone. My name is Tom Riles. Are you here for you ready for the panel of the day? This is it, guys. This is a Q&A panel, so this is all about you guys, so we can actually start lining people up already. If you have a question, you can get behind one of those microphones there. A couple important things: you can't ask our stars for a hug, you can't ask for an autograph, and you can't ask for a picture with them, all right? With that out of the way, let's have some fun and have a great time. You guys ready? So as you guys know, you were at the, it used to be called WWF panel featuring Mick Foley, Trish Stratus, and Lita. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, get on your feet and please welcome to the stage, Mick Foley! Taking our stage next, stay on your feet, here is Trish Stratus! They are ready. You guys ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Welcome to Chicago, my friends. The very first big panel at this year's C2E2. How you guys feeling out there?
First panel?
This is the first big one, the first one on the main stage.
We're kicking it off.
Get it off hot.
Hi, guys.
Are you guys happy that C2E2 is finally back this year? So we have lived far too much time behind screens, living our life separated. I love doing these panels because we actually get to be together, be intimate. I understand Pixar didn't happen, but the way you get the good panel.
The good panel. Listen to this, it's important.
Tuck those devices away, and that's when we just hang out off the record and give you the real answers.
Because there is a direct correlation between how honest we can be and how many cameras we see on us. So, if you want the lukewarm panel, by all means keep filming.
Pull them out,
But it's on you.
Yeah.
You're like, hey,
Decision
Foley
making.
what a terrible panel they get because that guy wouldn't put his camera down.
So snap your shots, get your clips, but let's go off the record on this, right?
Let's do it.
We're gonna.
Still, he doesn't think we see his camera.
We see your camera. Also, there's a little note that we will enter the crowd and we will take your devices from you if you don't put them away.
Trish is going aggro. I was like, it's like warm and fuzzy, but
Obviously, I'm the muscle,
like,
so that's why I'm here.
So Trish, first real quick, I want to point out my friend back there, Victor, if you and your wife would stand up, you made her cry a little bit earlier with an autograph. So where are they at? Oh man, there she is. So send a little love to our friend right there one more time.
Hi guys, it's so nice to meet you guys.
we got a family photo.
Yeah, we did a family photo. Your
So-
Christmas card. Your Trishmas card.
So Mick, I've got a question for you, because I know we had Ric Flair's last match just the other day. Can you tell us a little bit about that evening and what it meant to you?
A little bit about what?
That evening, about that match.
Hey, it was a great evening. I really enjoyed doing the StarCast, and Conrad Thompson put me that prime 9 a.m. podcast spot on a Sunday. So I traveled quite a bit, quite a distance to be there, but I was happy to do it. And then I had the opportunity to be part of that show. Over the years, what I've done is, even when I'm backstage, if I feel like something has the potential to be historic, I would wander out into the crowd, even if it was in the back, just to absorb all that positive energy. So I had a situation where not only could I be part of it, but I could sit in the front row. And I remember sitting down and I saw the MC +2, and it never dawned on me that MC was Mark Calloway until about 15 minutes before he arrived. Like, Undertaker's going to be here. And then I started...
Hammer?
What?
That was MC Hammer.
I didn't know who it was, but I do know that in the trade we referred to it as marking out, and I began marking out because the Undertaker was going to be sitting next to me. So it was really a lot of fun. It was a great historic night, and afterwards there was an air, backstage that's very rare, because with the exception of WrestleMania, maybe SummerSlam, if you're fortunate enough to be in the main event, you get back after a pay-per-view and people have taken off like a shot as soon as that final bell rings. So you might have torn down the house, and you get backstage and the crew is tearing things down. There's like 3 people backstage, and it's a little bit lonely, believe it or not. But after Rick's show, there were about 100 people back there, and everyone was really elated. So it was a really good, positive atmosphere.
That's right. Did you guys love watching it? It was a night, right? So Trish, you were recently the first female recipient of the Lou Thez Award. Congratulations on that. Guys, that is awarded to professional wrestlers who use their skills in the realm of public service. So what more meaningful award could there be? Congratulations. Is there anything you want to share about giving back over the years and to the community?
Not really, no. I give back when I go in the ring, obviously, by delivering Stratisfaction. I'm just kidding. No, it was a huge honor to actually receive that award. And the thing that really stood out, there's, past recipients include, not to get cheap pops or anything like that, but Edge, Booker T, yeah, making JR. So just, to join that list was amazing. But then to be like the first female to join that list. And it was interesting when I was writing my speech, it was like, okay, Hall of Fame speech, thanking my bestie, of course, and just thinking of people you thank and who sort of got you to where you are. And then it kind of occurred to me like there's like a bigger message at this point, and like knowing the significance of being the first female to get that award, and knowing that I talked to the organizers and they said, moving forward, we hope there's more women, and so it was about like recognizing what Lita and I were doing at the time, and that we were just fighting for representation, and like how important it is. And so just see women winning these awards or being the recipients or Hall of Fame spots, getting more and more, just more out there, it's all good movement.
That's the hall in Iowa?
Yes, in Iowa, Waterloo, Iowa. You were there.
Yeah, it's a real, it's...
and the Dan Gable Museum there, it has a lot of history.
We're all thrilled to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, but it's not an actual place yet.
Yes. And where's the Hall of Fame?
If you're in Iowa, you can actually visit a real-life Hall of Fame. It's pretty cool.
It's a special weekend, and they're just great hosts. And if you guys ever have a chance to go to it, like really, it's their Hall of Fame induction ceremony weekend in Waterloo, Iowa, and it's just a real, you can tell that everyone wants to preserve the history and the integrity of the sport, and it's really special. So that was an amazing moment, and it was really great to give back and be in that moment.
For sure. Congratulations again. And for you, Trish, and for Lita, I've got to say, how amazing are these strong women that we see up here on the stage? My daughter is 12 years old, and she overcame a heart defect at birth, and she's inspired by women that are strong and confident and take over the world. So we so appreciate what you all have done for the WWE, but also for the world over the years. It's really, really incredible. All right, Lita, you recently challenged Becky Lynch to get back in the ring. Can you tell people what's going on? What are you feeling?
Yeah, that was really impromptu experience, but it was quite an honor not only to get in there with somebody who has cited me as an inspiration to start her journey in professional wrestling, but also culturally, because our pay-per-view match happened in Saudi Arabia, and very recently, women were not even allowed to wrestle there. Women were not allowed to attend the event. Women, even in the time that the relationship with the WWE has been with Saudi Arabia, women have gained the privilege of driving. So, there have been huge cultural strides in Saudi Arabia. We were granted the honor of being the first two women on a billboard in the entire kingdom, the entire history of the kingdom. Two women, a woman had not been featured on a billboard. So to be in there with Becky specifically, but women like Becky, Sasha, Bailey, Charlotte, like this new crop that have picked up our ball and carried it on, and to kind of bridge that gap between what Trish and I and many of others in our generation were able to do, and combine that with the strides that the women are making today, and to do it in the historical location in Saudi Arabia. It was a dream I didn't know I had, but a dream come true.
Thank you for sharing. I think we're ready for some audience questions, so thank you all for volunteering. We're going to start over this way first. If you want to step up to the microphone, tell us your name, tell us your wrestling name, and fire away with your question.
My name is Jake. My wrestling name is Reptile. It fits with the mask and everything. And my question, I live in Chicago. My question is, are there any current wrestlers you guys wish you could compete against?
Does the question, is it hypothetical where none of the injuries come along with the match?
Correct. Yes.
Well, there's someone that has recently departed WWE, and Becky Lynch was one I was eyeing. She's definitely, I know your experience with her was amazing. So Sasha Banks and I had a face-off in 2018 when we came back from the Royal Rumble. There was a little moment between us, and it just resonates with me, and some fans have told me as well. And I think that would be someone I would like to face one of these days. Sasha Banks is my answer. What?
Yeah. For me, it's hypothetical. I can't wrestle anymore. But just today, someone said, "One more match? What about John Moxley?" It's like, I said, yeah, I think my wrestling days are over. And they said, well, what if it was a barbed wire match? And all of a sudden I went, I wouldn't necessarily have to be in great shape, right? I said, well, I'll tell you what, you know, if you see me getting down in like the 250-pound range,
it's coming. It's coming.
Might be coming, but as long as I'm north of 300, yeah, no matches in my future.
So I did asked permission for the disclaimer that no injuries come with that. So I mean, I can just rattle it off. Yeah, put me in there with Charlotte. Put me in there with Io, Bailey. You know, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Britt Baker, Ruby Soho, Thunder Rosa, Kylan King. Yeah, if I don't get injured, it's on. Yeah, but we're in fantasy world here in C2E2, right? Like, I can give you a scroll.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Reptile.
Reptile, everyone. All right, we're going to go over this. Name, wrestling name, and fire away with your question.
All right, hi, I'm Helga, and I don't think I need a wrestling name because my name is Helga, right? So I am from Sweden, Europe, and I have a question for Mick. Yes. So I'm a mother, and I just wonder if, since you became a parent and a little bit in your older days, if you had any regrets in your wrestling career, like things that you did.
Regrets?
You know what I mean.
I don't, actually, Helga.
Regrets? I've had a few.
Tell us.
But then
A few to mention.
Too few to mention.
By the way, Luke and Olivia, 5 and 8, or 5 and 9, sorry, Olivia, they're right here.
I had a fairly limited repertoire of moves.
And memory of a lot of the things, so you should be okay.
I've got good memory, but if I was going to add one more move, you want to see a wrestling move?
Yes.
When I saw metal objects traveling in my head at high speed, I might have blocked a few of them, yeah. So I was really conscious of trying to put on the best match I possibly could, but there's a time and a place to pull out everything, and it's not necessarily at little shows. I mean, you wrestle like every match is your most important match. That's how you get to where you eventually get. So I don't know, it seemed like I was doing everything exactly how it should be done, but looking back, I should not have been dropping elbows off ring aprons in small towns across America and the world, and I shouldn't have been taking chair shots to the head every step along the way. And then I should not. One of my big regrets is that I had to be like 280 when I came in order to go head-to-head with The Undertaker. When you get to a certain point where you're over enough that people are going to accept you, I should have made the conscious decision to go down 30 pounds and make life a lot easier on my knees. Instead, I went up 30 pounds, and it didn't hurt me as far as the matches went. It did hurt me as far as, absorbing so much punishment. So that's my big regret, that I did not take that opportunity to shape up and slim down and do the wrestling stuff for a few extra years.
Well, thank you for entertaining us.
Thank you. I'm sorry if that was a downer. Was that a depressing answer?
That is the Helga, everyone. Thank you, Helga. By the way, my son is 10 years old, Mick, and he wanted me to ask y'all, because he gets in trouble for hitting someone with a pillow. Chairs are kind of next level, so explain the pain that you feel when something like that happens.
Well, I had to ask my son Huey to stop hitting me with pillows, because he's hit me 100%. He was like, Dad, I don't get it. How can The Rock hit you 11 times with a steel chair? I can't hit you with a pillow. I'm like, I'm not the man I used to be, those days that I could take punishment are over.
All right, guys, we're going over this way. Hey, man, step up. Your name, your wrestling name, your favorite type of soup if you want to share, and your question. That's a lot. Or just your question.
Cheddar soup. My name, Pedro. I don't have a wrestling name.
Just make one up.
The librarian.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's now the librarian? So, my question to you guys is, who would you want to see in the Hall of Fame and why?
China.
As a solo, not as a group. You know, I just was interviewed for the China biography, and I think it's wonderful that they're acknowledging China and all her contributions. And I was doing the interview. I was talking about how my daughter. You were around when Noelle was there, and Lita, you were, and Joni would take Noelle by the hand, and she would do her makeup. And they were asking me questions about my daughter's friendship with China. I was like, you know, she's only 20 minutes away if you want her to be interviewed. It's one thing for me to say this happens, another thing to hear from her. And so I called her up, and she, did a little touch up on the makeup, and she came in, and I was so happy that she'll be part of that process. But that's a really great pick. For me, I'm reading a book about Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith. And Davey Boy's handsome, but for me, Tommy Billington was one of the greatest performers of all time. And he was not without his faults, like all of us have our faults, and his were pretty big, but I don't think that diminishes what he was able to do in the ring. And I'd like to see Dynamite Kid in the Hall of Fame at a certain point.
All right, moving on over this way. Hey man, step on up, tell us your name, your wrestling name, your question.
Hi, my name is James. I'm from Green Bay. My wrestling name, I guess I'll pick The Child, because it just makes sense.
He was just telling me earlier at my table that he owns you guys, so
I mean, bring it. Well, my question is, it's actually pretty simple, and I think I know the answer, but if you can go back in time and change anything about your character or wrestling style, what would it be?
I kind of covered that. Do you guys want to?
Yeah, I figured that.
Talk about that?
When I feel like I wouldn't change a thing. I feel like everything happened for a reason. Yeah.
All right.
I felt very blessed, and even like when I retired, everyone asked, why did you retire? I was feeling I was a good place in my positioning, and I just felt like I felt very fulfilled. I felt like I'd worked with all the people that I wanted to work with, and I felt good about everything at that point. So yeah, I look back and I feel like everything just fell into place nicely for me personally.
Trish, do you recall who gave you a ride to the building on your first day with WWE?
A man named Mick Foley.
Because I've been interviewed by you, and then you were there in baggage claim,
It was a fitness model back in the day, and then
and like a lot of people, you get in and you don't really know your way around, and I think you said, "Can I get a ride?"
He's like, "I'm here for your orientation. My name is Mick Foley." I was marking out. It was quite a moment. Yeah.
This is a conversation that Hall of Famers have. If I go back in time about 3 weeks, I would have told the makeup artist at the WWE warehouse, take it easy on the spray stuff, man, because both Amy and I afterwards, like 2 weeks after, were like, I didn't even look like myself, and I did not want to hurt this guy's feelings, so instead to avoid hurting one makeup artist's feelings, we will look totally ridiculous in front of 3 million fans. And both of us have said, I think we're going to go back and just say, I don't need to be paid, but I need to do this over again, because I'm looking at the monitor and I'm like, this looks like us, right? It was so weird. It was like me, Lita, and Booker, and we're all
working
together.
on a secret project.
Yeah, we're on a secret project.
Because this isn't off the record, you guys
and
be aware.
All people have known each other for 20 plus years, but in some way it's like, wow, we all look so weird here. So if I could go back in time, I would have had the strength of character to say, no way, man.
No, put that down.
And you know what? I'll put the anti-shine stuff, that's good. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent.
So no makeup for Mick Foley.
Yeah.
No makeup.
I'm a natural guy. Yeah, natural.
Oh, natural.
I would have kept Crime Time behind the curtain. Let me finish my last match.
Good answer.
All right, man, you can head back to Green Bay. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. No, we're happy you're here. Hey, we're going over this way. This young one over here. Step on up, tell us your name, your wrestling name if you want, and your question.
All right, my name is Cameron, and I'm from Chicago, and my wrestling name is Killer Cam.
Killer Cam.
My question is, so whatever, there's a lot of and there's a lot of great teams, and I was wondering, what superstar would you team up with, and do you guys think you would win any championships?
Oh, pick me.
All right. Yeah, you over there.
Okay.
There's a lot. It's very competition.
Thank you. So Killer Cam, can I go? You're okay. I can go first.
Yeah.
You got okay. So there's this woman I know. She's amazing. She's shattered glass ceilings. She's done things that women weren't doing. You've never seen women do what she was doing at the time. Fiery red hair, tattoos. You guys, she's my better half, I would say. Rita. I'm gonna pick Rita.
And we would take on literally anyone and just mop up championships.
That's right. And we're so crazy. We'll take on the librarian and the child to
The killer, Helga, get in there, girl.
We don't care if you're really ready. I don't know. I tried to do a little catchphrase for you. We're gonna work on that and send it to merchandise. Don't worry, we got t-shirts for you. Anyway, that's my pick.
Well, I don't want to bring the audience down. This is kind of a sad subject for me because we do run across people who seem to have potential and let it go. And I teamed up with this young man named Dwayne Johnson many years ago. Life has not been kind to him, so I might come back just to give him that little extra boost. He's got a struggling tequila company. So I think a Rock and Sock Connection reunion.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put your hands together for Killer Cam! Thank you, Killer. All right, we're gonna head over this way. Step on up, tell us your name, your wrestling name, favorite topping on pizza, and your question.
Hi, my name is Storm. My wrestling name will probably be like Roxanne or something.
Or Storm. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Storm is a cool name, yeah.
Thank you. That's a story for another time. Mick Foley, my question's for you. And so I just first wanted to say that I have been the test dummy for my brother for all our wrestling moves we have learned throughout our entire childhood. So this is definitely a personal question for me and my brother.
Okay.
So how important was it to you and how awesome was it to be thrown by the Undertaker in the cage?
It's kind of harrowing to wait in that line and have your turn come up. I know that because I went to Christina Ricci's panel a couple years ago. When it got to my point, I was really nervous, yeah, so I appreciate all of you do that. I also appreciate you saying I was thrown off instead of tossed off, because you're from the United Kingdom, that means something a little bit different there. No one wants to think of The Undertaker that way. Look, we had no idea we were making history. You know, I did a special a few years ago where I talked about how I was kind of bitter about that match because it was all anyone wanted to talk to me about, to the point where I felt like Bill Murray in an airing of Groundhog's Day that never ends, where every day was like the one before, or at least one person on a daily basis would walk up and say, "Did it hurt?" And then as time goes by, you realize how fortunate you are to be remembered for anything, let alone something that touched the lives of people and that millions have chosen to hand down to their children. So I started realizing as years went by, the average age of the person asking me the question was getting lower and lower. And one of the things I love about doing these conventions is that I'd say a good third of the people who come up to the table were not even alive when that match took place. So I'm really grateful. Yeah. I understand the Undertaker is going to be here tomorrow? Sunday. Yeah, another guy who hasn't gotten his due. So if you could stop by his table, maybe give him a little bit of encouragement, you know. On a serious note, there's a lot of you here, and that's a great way to show your support. But I would say an even better way is to come by the table if you have the chance. Over the next few days, a little smattering of applause. We're like, "I've seen your prices, Foley. I like you, but not that much."
Once again, that's the Storm, everyone. Thank you, Storm. Thank you for your question. We're going to head over this way. Your name, wrestling name, and your question, please.
My name is Mark, but you may call me the demented Dr. Graves. And my question is, coming up from the Attitude and ECW eras, looking at the modern era of wrestling, what's something you're surprised that still goes on from those eras to today, and what's something from the Attitude and ECW era that you wish would kind of make a comeback in modern day wrestling?
I think the mixed tag matches, intergender matches. Previously, the Dungeons, they were great. I mean, I think it was always interesting when two characters that you would never expected would team up or, you know, cross paths in the show. And so those opportunities for us, I mean, we had a huge main event match with her and The Rock teamed up, and Triple H and I teamed up, and, you know, just seeing that dynamic and bringing in the storyline, I think it's super cool to see that. So they don't do that.
Was that amazing storytelling where you kept getting caught? Stephanie would walk in and Triple H would be showing you like the go behind. I
was learning the craft of wrestling. So yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think everyone would love it. Would you guys like to see that?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the demented Dr. Graves. Thank you, sir.
Graves.
Heading over this way, man. You know what to do. Bring it on.
Hi, my name's Kurt. You can call me the K-Zone, because I'm always in the zone, baby.
I like that.
One of the biggest changes in wrestling in many years, Vince McMahon just retired. Obviously, that leaves a big hole in wrestling. Who do you think is going to kind of fill in the gaps while he's, you know, retired? Who's going to fill in?
I've not heard of that.
Wow.
What?
Who's been?
We are clearly not in this zone, are we?
I wanted to ask that, and also, if you were in his position, who do you think are the young talents today that are not being utilized that will get the opportunities and push perhaps that they haven't? Maybe because of Vince, perhaps.
Before we go into that,
yes.
Do you do radio or something?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Voice.
A little bit.
You have a great voice. Sorry.
And the young man who was up there, what a commanding presence you had too, my friend.
Killer Cam.
Yeah, that was really impressive.
Yeah. So,
let's see how we can skate around this delicately.
So there's a hole, which means there's also an opening.
Yes.
Right?
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean there is. I mean, Triple H has stepped in that position, and I'm in charge of creative now, and we see the chairwoman is Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
And from our perspective, that's something that makes us very happy to see, changing of the guard, so to speak, but a different perspective on the overall product, not just for the women, but it's an overall of the whole product. So I think it's an interesting time for everybody.
Yes. I know my first full-time wrestling territory was in Memphis, Championship Wrestling Association, 1988, and they regularly changed bookers as a matter of just a matter of course. They did it every year. One guy would have it for 6 months, another guy would come in 6 months, with the feeling being that nobody ever got stagnant. And Mr. McMahon was in charge for so many years and things were done his way. I can tell you, my son was a writer for 6.5 years. And he worked ungodly hours, you never get any credit. And the worst thing that if I ever had to deal with the idea of putting in 60 hours and then 2 hours before a show, having the guy in charge take a Sharpie, put a line through it, let's start over. That would have driven me crazy. So I think there is an opportunity for a little more reason. And I'm just fortunate that Vince really saw a lot in me. But sometimes, I would tell younger wrestlers, don't tie all your hopes and dreams up in being a WWE superstar, because no matter how good you are, you're putting your fate in the hands of one man, and he's not always right. So I think it's good that there's a change, and I think you'll see that reflected in some exciting new things coming up.
Thank you to the zone, everybody.
Who do you think should be getting pushed now, perhaps, that has?
Well, I gotta be honest, I haven't watched the product as much as I used to, which might be an indication that I wasn't as excited by it. We're in a position where it's good, it's a great time to be a wrestler. There's more talented wrestlers than there are good spots in the card, so that's something we can bat around for hours, but I don't have a name popping off the top of my mind right now.
I think a couple things. Steph was born into this position. She's been studying not only her father, but the industry her entire life, so there's nobody more qualified to fill that role. From a talent perspective, I think, and I would hope that they're looking at this as a reset to establish themselves from a baseline. Like, there's brand new eyes on them shot calling, and this is their opportunity to see if they can get one that they potentially had been lacking prior.
Thank you again, man. We appreciate you being here. That's the zone. We're heading over this way. Step on up. Tell us your name. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Destiny. I'm from Chicago, and I would probably keep my wrestling name as Destiny because there's so much to work with. My question's for mainly Lita and Trish. I know there's been. I'm sorry, Mick. I know there's.
I beat Dwayne Johnson twice.
Also the resident female groupie. Like, we were always, we had like, when there was times where you would just hang with the girls.
I love hanging
part of the
with
girls a
ladies,
lot.
yeah.
But, you know,
Can I tell you this is my favorite Trish Stratus story. I went on.
Just pause.
And I promise, I know. So not Mick, and then I'm gonna start speaking anyway. But one time on live television on Raw, I referred to Trish as my fifth child, and it made no sense whatsoever to anybody. The reasoning was, when we went to the Philippines, I had a child who I sponsored, who I was meeting for the first time, and I thought she was going to come jump into my arms, everything would be great, and she was so painfully shy. She was afraid to say a word, and the person who got her out of her shell was Trish. She was so nice to that family, so that every single month, when Herman Grace wrote a letter, she would say, "Dear Dad, how is Dewey? How is Noelle? How is Mickey? How is Huey? How is Trish?" Every single time for years. So that's why she's my fifth child. So, okay, but go ahead with your question. Go ahead.
I guess my question is, I know, touching on the whole Vince retired thing, now that Triple H and Stephanie are like kind of taking over. I know this has been a question for a while, but Evolution 2, if that's ever going to happen, then maybe now, since anything is possible, they can. And I was going to ask you guys who you two would team up to face if you had the opportunity to tag again.
Whoever is holding the titles, I guess.
Yeah, title holders, which are not even
a thing now. Well, hopefully they.
Okay, well, we can walk in with the title. We can workshop the specifics.
Yes.
But whatever the scenario is that we leave as the
champions. Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
I will. We hate to see an injury. We hate to see injuries.
So you don't want us to go back?
No, what I'm saying is, Becky Lynch could not have been injured at a more opportune time, because that whole idea of working that match with a separated shoulder, so she's clearly superhero, and now you get a chance to miss her. So I think she's leaving at the exact right moment, because absence makes the heart grow fonder, and she'd done an amazing job as a heel. But deep down, we all want to love her.
We all want the man, don't we?
Yeah.
We want it.
Destiny, thank you for that question. It was not for Mick. Okay, we're going over this way now. Hi, step on up and what's your name?
My name is Tito. My wrestling name is The Rush. So, and sorry, Vincent, I'm Mick and Evans. I apologize. My question is for Trish and Lita.
Mick Foley, everyone. He's going home now. We enjoyed him.
Come back, Daddy.
Okay, so what is your ladies' favorite match that you ladies had against each other?
Oh, it's always a toss-up, right? So, well, you can start. What is the toss-up? Because I mean, there's so many.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So there's. We're like, we do. This is how we
sometimes,
stop. A full sentence does not ever happen.
It's like
the two of
a
us.
twin effect where
Then the other.
talk and then nothing, right? Yeah. So we've actually telepathically answered each other. Sorry, that doesn't involve you guys.
We've already had this conversation. You just watched us have it privately. That's how we talk. I'll do this so you can take the other, and then I'll take the other, and then you can.
Yeah, perfect. Adorable, right?
The main event match that we had on Raw will always hold a special place in my heart. I love that our personal WrestleMania moment, which is what it's, you're always looking for that, was a random Raw before, that we just walked into the building on, and our WrestleMania moment was going to happen in Charlotte, North Carolina at a Raw, and here we are still talking about it. And to be in that pocket, we've been working together so much, knowing that we finally had the ultimate opportunity to close the show, the even better feeling, knowing we could deliver and close that show, was a feeling I'll never forget.
The pay-per-view match, was that your farewell match?
Yeah.
That was dynamite. Oh, it was so good. I remember watching it. I used to bring the family. We'd about 5-6 times a year we'd go over to the home of a young man. He had cerebral palsy, and he's got the original Dude Love shirt that I gave him. And now that I know how much that's worth, I want to have a conversation with him about. But I remember watching that match and saying out loud when the main event was officially the Hell in a Cell. And I said out loud, while the Hell in a Cell match is going on, they can't follow the women. And that night they could not follow the women. So I was so proud of them because, I think the world of both of them, and given the time to shine, they shone very brightly. So that was my favorite. That was my favorite.
They didn't ask you, Nick.
I know they did.
I'm just kidding.
My 2 cents.
That's it. Like that match, it just was like for me bittersweet, obviously as my retirement match, but just to do it, it had everything in place. It had my bestie, my arch nemesis. We ran parallel our entire careers in my hometown of Toronto, in front of my friends and family and colleagues. It really had everything, and us sharing that moment, it was a perfect ending to my career and our feud, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. I forget your name. We'll call you the Whisper. All right. The Rush, everyone. All right, man. You know what to do.
Yes, I do. These two torture machines saw me earlier in the photo ops booth. My name is Mr. Johnson. I'm from here in Illinois, and nothing against you, Mr. Foley, but my question is once again for the aforementioned ladies. Starting with
Johnson, Mr. Johnson, we get it. You don't have to wave that photo in my face. I understand.
I know you do understand, Mr. Foley. And by the way, your iconic fall was very timeless.
You're pandering, all right? So just,
Anyway, by the way, also my wrestling name is the Perpetual Chokeout Dummy, as in their Perpetual Chokeout Dummy.
Your wrestling name is Mr. Johnson. You can't get any better than that, right?
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson!
My twofold question is for, by the way, Miss Stratus, love you in both Bill and Bounty Hunters and Gridlock. Two chokeout scenes are my favorite.
You like the choking out thing, I see. Yeah.
Anyway, first quick question for you. Your aforementioned retirement match, would it be okay if everyone saw me be sharp shot by you the way you shot Lita in your retirement match.
Okay, so
did you sign the release form when she breaks your back? You signed that?
You signed the release form, right? Yes. You did?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we'll
yeah.
have to...
So I am so down to do this. It's just that my shoes, like you see the heels on there.
Yeah.
I can't do it in these heels. I can't get that leverage. But otherwise,
and insurance purposes, the whole thing.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Otherwise, Mr. Johnson, perhaps another day.
All right. Another quick question, that's okay. If you have to choose between Pin-Up Strong and Present Toxic Attraction, which team would you face if you were still competing, and why?
Pin-Up Strong?
So it's Pin-Up, I mean, I don't see what's wrong with a triple threat, really.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. We beat them.
The more people that want to challenge, you know, the better. So yeah, I say you don't have a wrong answer in that one. Thank you for your question.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr.
Johnson.
Over here, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's George, aka Big Red. Big fan of yours, Mick. I've met you a couple of times. Once at Holiday World when you ended up meeting with the Make-Wish kids and that day.
That was
back in
2001, right?
2002.
Oh, 2002. Yeah, that was a great
so,
day. Yeah.
But my main question is, put your fan hats on. What would be your favorite match you've ever seen? Who was it? You know, it doesn't have to be your match, just any match. What would you guys say would be your favorite match as a fan?
I'm going to tell you, mine was Ric Flair and Terry Funk. That's Funk with an N, just so you're not dropping F-bombs on you. It was I Quit match. The show was called New York Knockouts at the Clash of the Champions in 1989. It was at a time when WCW was kind of homogenized. Like, you couldn't have the faintest semblance of blood. Even anything that looked like blood was not allowed on the show. And those guys tore it down for 28 minutes, and it was just really something for me to aspire to be that good. It was the type of match I loved seeing, and they just did it better than anybody ever had, in my opinion.
Thank you, Big Red. That is Big Red. I did want to say, Mick, real quick, he said Make-A-Wish. I know you brought so much joy to so many as Santa, so is there anything you want to share about yourself and Santa?
Well, he can't be everywhere. And so he does have a few ambassadors to help him out from time to time, and went through thorough training, and I'm happy to be supporting the big guy in his quest to make the world a little better place for me.
Thank you, sir. Go on over here.
Hey, my name is Juan. My wrestling name would be Eternal Sway. And my question is for Mick Foley. When Edge speared you into the table that was on fire, was it your idea, or did they kind of convince you to do this?
If it struck you as being stupid, it was probably my idea. You know, the table would not have been on fire had not been for this young lady who, actually, I think I did set it alight, and then Amy gave me the low blow, and then put considerably more fuel to the fire.
Finish what you started.
So,
I was like, oh, I'm sorry. As an apology, let me show you this gesture. Finish what you started.
That was an amazing way to end that match. I know Adam really wanted to do something to make a statement. I can't remember after this time what the whose idea it was, but I know that you've heard me talk about this before. As the most dangerous move that night was not me going through the table. It was Lita on my back as I clotheslined Edge over the top rope. And I just said to her, you don't have to do this. If you choose to do it, like at a certain point, you're on your own, and you're just gonna have to abandon ship. And when we did it, and it went perfect, and I saw Amy like about 6 feet to the side on the floor, I was like, we did it. Like, we actually did it. So first of all, I would never have suggested that for anyone but Lita. I thought that would be something that she would like to do. And you go back and you watch, I get the tinglies, you know, because it was a big ask. Hopefully I didn't put pressure on you, but
no, it was perfect. I remember a lot of. I was curious when you asked the question. I'm like, who did come up with that? Because I just remember when you're in a hardcore match, it's like anything goes, right? You can expand what your ideas could be, and just throwing all three of us, just throwing around ideas like, what could we pull this off? What about this? And yeah, Edge being in that position of wanting to really solidify that. And it was weird because I never saw this, but of him, he's not just a pretty boy, or that he's tough, and that match, that who do you sign up with to prove that you're tough? Mick Foley, right?
Right before we went through the curtain, do you remember me coming through the curtain, and I was fired up. I was in that zone that night, and I see Amy and Edge about to leave, and I look at her and I said, I think we should say a prayer for our safety tonight.
And in my mind, I'm like, you're making it worse. Ignore the elephant in the room, which is utter peril.
But remember, we all held hands?
Yep, I do.
And we said a prayer, not to tear the house down, but that we'd be all okay.
Came back through safe. Yeah.
So I was mighty surprised by those words leaving my own mouth. You know, I think we should say a prayer for our safety. What I probably should have said was, maybe we shouldn't do some of this shit we planned, you know? It's me dropping a bad word on you.
Thank you for your question, man. We appreciate it. So guys, we have less than 10 minutes left, so we're going to try to do speed rounds to get through as many as we can. So real quick, bring it on.
Hi, my name's Dakota. My wrestling name would be classic first last name like you three, so it would be Coda Crows. My question is for Trish. I just want to say you look amazing. You were my first crush, and I'm just curious, off the top of your head, what is the goofiest thing a little boy has ever said to you when he came up and met you?
Oh man, that's an interesting question. I can't even think about things. I don't know. The goofiest thing. I mean, I've had little kids could you come to my prom? I've been asked to many proms, that's for sure. I've been offered corsages as well before, just like the little warm-up. I've been asked on dates before. I mean, it's super cute and humbling, and it's and I've been told that I'm a lot of people's first crush, which I'm super honored to be a part of your childhood. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Go ahead.
For sure. Let's get a the my name.
I like the hair.
Thank you. My name is DeMarvin. Ring name might be like Derek, D-Man, Kerry. But one question I had is, given that you said don't put all your eggs in one basket in becoming a WWE superstar, how do you think we should weaponize our potential in different avenues, even if you're not looking into going into the WWE? And this could be for any one of you.
Well, I'm so glad that Amy referred to having her WrestleMania moment, and it was on Raw. So WrestleMania moment is,
it's a mindset.
It's a mindset, and you get to choose your own WrestleMania moments in wrestling and in life. So I've claimed that the only one of two wise things I've ever actually said was that you don't let anyone else define what being a success is. You get to define that for yourself. So for me, when I started out, I wanted to have one match. That would have been a success if I had one match. As it is, I live in a house that's almost entirely free of any wrestling memorabilia. But if I'd had that one match, Clarksburg, West Virginia, June 1986, probably my entire house would be filled with every imaginable grainy image of that night long ago. But I just kept on extending and raising the bar for what I wanted to accomplish. But I think everybody just has to understand that the thrill is in the journey, not the destination. So as long as you're striving, doing your best, you're a success in my eyes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Heading over this way.
Hi, I don't know if I have a wrestling name, but my wrestling objective would be like Salty Sherman. Like my name's Sherman, so like Salty Sherman. Compliments. So great meeting you ladies earlier. I always love it when you guys come back for a pop or like the Saudi Arabia show, WrestleMania, or Royal Rumble, Evolution, etc. Mick and Trish both have multiple Funkos. Amy, when are we getting a Funko from you? Is that happening soon?
It is, I have gotten word, it is officially in the works.
Yay!
It's about time, right?
It's a game changer. Because it doesn't matter what you signed before, or how many times someone's met you, they get that pop, and it's just...
It's not the same without the signature on it.
Yeah.
And it's literally a cheap pop. Oh no, it's not that cheap though, is it?
I'm really excited to hear that Al Snow is getting his own vinyl figure. Which is good, because it's likely to be the only pop he ever gets.
Thank you, man. All right, heading over here.
My name is Malik, and my question was, there's a lot of moments in the ring, but my question is for all of y'all, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened in the ring to y'all? Like a moment that made you take it personal, like, yeah, it's that now.
That helps. Thank you for that. Thank you.
For me, it was when I was wrestling under a mask as Super Zodiac #2 in World Class Championship Wrestling, and Matt Bourne, who was a great underrated worker, he liked to rib, and he held on to a headlock a little too tight, shot him off, and he hit the ropes, and he had my mask in his hand, and I was just in there, and I have no idea what to do at this point. That was probably the most embarrassing in-ring moment I've had.
All right, thank you. Heading over this way.
Yeah, this question is mostly for Mick. I suppose my name is Sam. I'm the Sam homie. Mick, you get one Santa Claus from pop culture for the rest of your life. Who is it?
Who is it?
And you can't choose yourself.
I like
one Santa from pop culture. Ed Asner in Elf is tough to beat. I mean, he had that curmudgeonly and still joyful Santa. He had that down. So I think he was my favorite. Oh, you know what? There's a phenomenal, if you guys want to see something, I watched it a couple times a year. It's the 1960 or 61 Twilight Zone episode with Art Carney as a down in his luck department store Santa. It's called Night of the Meek. So if you have the means to watch that, no matter how many times I watch it, it always makes me feel great and joyful about the season. So Art Carney as the broken down in his luck Santa, and Ed Asner and Elf are my favorites.
Thank you so much, guys. We have time for 2 more quick questions, so go on over here.
Hello, my name is Sherrick. Wrestling name would be Chocolate Orange Cassidy.
Your hands are in the wrong spot.
Not wearing proper sunglasses. Question is, favorite face of Foley for all 3 of you?
It's funny because I was, my heart, I was always Cactus Jack, right? But as time went by and I saw how much, especially the latter day, mankind meant to people, because I would hear this hundreds of times over the years, that was the one people associated with. It made people who didn't feel like they fit in feel like they somehow fit in. Took their minds off their troubles. And Dude Love would have been a very, very distant third until I started doing cameo videos. And, now, brother, I bring that Dude Love thing alive, creating songs, and I just love it. I reinvented him as a guy who is about 1/3 as cool as he thinks he is. And I just love that I've been able to give him a new life in these ridiculous videos.
You can check out his Cameo, available for cameos.
I do take a lot of pride in them. I put a lot into them, and I think if anyone's ever got one, they get a lot out of them.
So thank you, man. We're going to do one last question over here.
Let's get both, you guys come up here, we'll do rapid fire, just because I know you've been waiting in line, and
3, we
get
have
out
to
of
teach
here.
people.
Yeah, we're going to skip your wrestling names, fire off those questions, and let's give you some answers.
My question's for Mick. How close were we to getting that Dean Ambrose match in 2011?
Pretty close, and then I failed my impact test. I'm proud of the fact that when the noted neurologist told me I should never get in the ring again, I looked at him and said, I can work an entire match around my left knee, which was my way of ignoring the reality.
All right, let's get these last couple.
If all three of you could pick anybody, past or present, who would you choose for a dream match?
All right, well, let's have a think on that and get this last question to get everybody out, and then we will fire off some answers.
If you could have a statue built of you, where would you want it?
Okay, great question. And
If you were a young wrestler coming up today, what wisdom would you use to navigate the current climate?
okay, I will go Rey Mysterio. It would be my dream match, present, past, or future. Where would I want the statue? I want it in Trish's house because we missed each other during the pandemic, that we could stay close. Advice, I would say, unfortunately, you have to watch wrestling like you're a student, and sometimes that means like not getting caught up in the moment, but watching it and taking notes and realizing why people do what they do.
All right, so my dream match would be Bruiser Brody. I'd like my statue to be alongside like Dusty's and Andre's at the WWE headquarters. It's pretty cool. And I think I already gave you my words of wisdom.
Yes.
Just don't let anyone else define for you what being a success is. All right.
My dream match would be against Lita at WrestleMania, because we never had that moment, which is crazy. I'd like my statue to be in Toronto.
I want it. Can we make
You
two
want
statues? I would like it though.
You want that? Okay, because Drake asked me if we could put our statues together in Toronto, but that's cool.
Fine,
Did I not
fine.
referee a special match where the two of you teamed up in 2001?
Maybe?
Yeah.
I believe it was against Stacy
And
Tori.
Wilson, it was Invasion.
Yes,
Invasion.
and so I think we can just create a statue of the three of us from that match.
There you go. Yes.
If we did not get a chance to get you, are you going back to your table?
I am going
We're
back to the table.
all going to go back to our table. I know public speaking is
1 hour.
everybody's thing. So please come over, say hi, ask us your questions. And we are very privileged to hang out in Chicago this weekend and meet you. So thank you so much for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, give